The Varaha Upanishad, presented by Svayam Prakash Sharma, Part 2. Part 2 consists of verses 1 to 42 of Chapter 2, in which the Lord, in the form of the Varaha or Boar, tells the sage Ribhu about the supreme knowledge of Brhm. The Upanishad. The great Ribhu again addressed the Lord of Lakshmi, who was of the form of the Varaha, the boar. He said, O Lord, please initiate me into the supreme knowledge of Brhm. Thus addressed, the Lord, who removes the miseries of his devotees, said to Ribhu, Ribhu, by properly doing the duties of one's own caste and orders of life, by observing religious austerities, and by pleasing the Guru, by serving him properly, there arise in the person the four essential qualities of Vairagya, etc. These further result in his ability to discriminate between what is the eternal Brahma or Atma and all that is not the eternal Brahma or Atma. This further leads to indifference to the enjoyments of this and other worlds. Then the person has no desire to enjoy this world or other worlds. The acquisition of the six virtues, such as Sam, Dham, and the like, and the longing for liberation, these should be practiced by you. Subdue the organs of the senses. Give up the concept of mind in all objects. Then, having subdued the sensual organs and having given up the concept of mind in all objects, you should place your consciousness of I in me. That is, you should identify yourself with me, who am the witness consciousness, who am the witness Chaitanya. To be born as a human being is indeed difficult. More difficult is to be born as a male human, and even still more difficult is to be born as a Brahmin. Then, in spite of all this, after listening etc. to the Vedanta, if a person still does not understand the true nature of Brahm as Sat Chit Anand, of Brahm that is all pervading and that is beyond all castes and orders of life, then the person is a fool. And when will such a fool attain moksha? Never. Know this, that I alone am happiness. There is none other. If somebody says that there is another, then it is certainly not happiness. There is no such thing as love, except on my account. The love that is on account of me is not natural to me. Since I am the supreme seat of love, that which I am not is also not, meaning that all that which is not me, all that simply does not exist. The person who is sought after by all, who say that they would like to become like him, that person is myself, the all-pervading. How can light affect the Atma, the self-shining, which is no other than the light from which the words, I am not light, originate? My firm conviction is that whosoever knows for certain the Atma which is self-shining and which does not rest on any basis, the person who knows that Atma is a person of Vigyan, is a person of knowledge. The universe, Jeev, Ishwar, Maya and others, they all do not really exist. It is only my full Atma that exists. I do not have their characteristics. Karam, which has dharma and other attributes, and which is of the form of darkness and agyan or ignorance, that karam is not fit to even touch me or to affect me, who am the Atma, the self-resplendent, in any way whatsoever. The person who sees this Atma, which is the witness of all and which is beyond all castes and orders of life, who sees this Atma as the nature of Brhm, such a person becomes Brhm himself. Through the evidence of the Vedanta, whoever sees this visible universe as the supreme seat, which is of the form of light, he attains moksha at once. When that knowledge, which gets rid of the idea that this body alone is Atma, when that knowledge arises firmly in a person's mind, as was the knowledge before he started thinking of this body alone as being the Atma, then the person, even though he does not desire moksha, he still gets it. Therefore, the person who always enjoys the bliss of Brhm, which has the characteristics of Sat Chit Anand and which is other than Agyan or ignorance, how will such a person be bound by karma? Such a person can never be bound by karma. Persons with spiritual eyes see Brhm, that is the witness of the three states, that has the characteristics of existence, of wisdom, and of bliss, and which is the underlying meaning of the words thou or tvam and I or aham, and which is not touched by any stain whatsoever. A blind person does not see the sun that is shining. In the same way, an ignorant person also does not see Brhm or the Atma. Pragya alone is Brhm. Brhm has truth and pragya as its characteristics. In this way, by knowing and understanding Brhm well, a person becomes immortal. The person who knows his own Atma as Brhm, that is bliss, that is without duality and without gunas or qualities, and which is truth and absolute consciousness, such a person is not afraid of anything. That which is consciousness alone, that which is all pervading, that which is eternal, that which is all full, that which is of the form of bliss, and that which is indestructible, that is the only true Brhm. It is the settled determination of Brahmagyanis. It is the settled determination of the knowers of Brhm that there is nothing else but Brhm. Just as the world appears dark to the blind and it appears bright to those having good eyes, in much the same way, this world that is full of miseries to the ignorant is full of happiness to the wise. In me, of the form of the Varaha or the Boar, who am infinite and who am the bliss of absolute consciousness, if there is the concept of non-dualism, then where is bondage? Then who is the one who has to be emancipated? Then there is no bondage, and then there is no one to be emancipated. The real nature of all embodied objects is always the absolute consciousness. Just like the pot that is seen by the eyes, but which in reality does not exist, in the same way, the body and its aggregate also do not really exist. All the moving and fixed worlds that appear as other than the Atma, know them all as the Atma, and knowing them all as the Atma, meditate upon them as I am that Atma. Such a person then enjoys his real nature. There is no other to be enjoyed than the one self. There is no other to be enjoyed than the one Atma. If there is anything that is, if there is anything that exists, then know that it is Brahma alone that has that attribute and none else. One who is perfect in Brahma Gyan, one who is perfect in the knowledge of Brahma, Even though he always sees this established universe, still he does not see it as other than the Atma. He sees it only as the Atma. By knowing my form clearly, a person is never trapped by karma. He is an undaunted person who, by his own experience, knows as his own real nature all the universe and Brhm that is outside the body and the organs of sense, that is the all witness, that is the one object of intellectual intuition, that is devoid of all attributes of phenomena. That is the blissful Atma as contrasted with the lower self or the Jivatma, the individual soul, and that is resplendent. He is one who should be known as me, who should be known as myself. O Ribhu, may you become such a one, may you become me. After this, there will never be any experience of the world. After this, there will always be the experience of the wisdom of one's own true nature. One who has truly known the Atma, one who has fully known the Atma, he has neither emancipation nor does he have bondage. Whosoever meditates on me, even for one muhurat or for 48 minutes, through the knowledge of one's own real form, upon him who is dancing as the witness of all, he is released from all bondage. Prostrations, prostrations to me, who am in all the elements, who am the Chid Atma, the Atma of the nature of wisdom, that is eternal and free, and who am the Pragya Atma. O Devata, you are me, I am you. Prostrations on account of myself and yourself, who are infinite and who are Chidatma. Myself being the supreme Ish, the supreme God, and yourself being Shiv of the beneficent nature. What should I do? Where should I go? What should I reject? There is nothing for me to do. There is nowhere for me to go. There is nothing for me to reject, because the universe is filled by me with the waters of the universal deluge. Whosoever gives up fondness or love for the external, gives up fondness or love for the internal, and who also gives up fondness or love for the body, and who in this way gives up all associations, he is merged in me. Of this, there is absolutely no doubt whatsoever. That Paramhans Sannyasi, who, though living in the world, yet keeps aloof from human congregations, just as he would keep away from a snake, who regards a beautiful woman as a living corpse, and who regards the endless sensual objects as poison, and who has abandoned all passion and is indifferent towards all objects. He is no other than Vasudeva. He is no other than me, myself. This is the truth. This is nothing but the truth. It is truth alone that I have said. It is truth alone that I have told you. I am Brhm, the truth. There is nothing else but me. The word Upavas, which literally means dwelling near, actually signifies dwelling near the Param Atma. It signifies the union of the Jivatma and the Param Atma. It does not mean the religious observances of fasting, as has largely been accepted by the world, of emaciating or weakening the body through fasts. To the ignorant, what is the use of the mere drying up of the body? By beating around the hole of a snake, can we say that we have killed the big snake inside? Certainly not. A man is said to attain paroksh or indirect wisdom when he knows theoretically that there is Brhm, but is said to attain sakshatkar or direct knowledge and wisdom when he knows or realizes that he himself is Brahma. When a yogi knows his Atma to be the Absolute, then he becomes a Jivan Mukt. Yes, when a yogi knows his Atma to be the Absolute, then he becomes a Jivan Mukt. This concludes the second part of the Varaha Upanishad, consisting of verses 1 to 42 of chapter 2. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.